My grandfather graduated from Huntsville High in 1932. He was president of the class of 1932, and he was captain of the football team. And they also decided that year that they needed a homecoming queen, and they named my grandmother as the homecoming queen because they were dating. So they ended up getting married, and then he read for the bar. So he read the law so he could be eligible to take the bar, and he took extension courses out of Chicago, LaSalle extension courses.
And then in 1937, he received his law license, and he told me that he made the highest score that ever been made on the bar exam at that time. That's what they told him. Then his law practice started out in the back of his father-in-law's store, who's my grandfather, and he prepared documents for people in Dallas Mill Village, and wills and deeds and bills of sale, and gave them legal advice.
And then he went to World War II and was stationed up in Wisconsin and then in Michigan. And then when he came back, he started practicing law full-time, and he served as an inferior court judge, which is the district court judge today, and then he ran for probate judge, and then he also was very active in the Lions Club, the Lions International, and they were big into rural electrification, and then they got into rural telephone, so he helped found the New Hope Telephone Co-op.
I was just a little kid, 10, 12 years old at the time, and I went on a lot of trips with him in explaining the need for a telephone in the areas of New Hope, Grant, and Owens Crossroads. So we still represent the New Hope Telephone Cooperative, and at one time they had party lines and they had crank telephones, and now they're doing a $26 million expansion in fiber optics, which will have a bundle of telephone and cable TV and internet. So we've seen that company come a long, long way.
My grandfather and my father worked together for a number of years until his death in 1971. And then my father and Mr. Beason were lifelong friends, and so George came back to Huntsville to work with him.
Yeah, I came in 1972 from the FBI, living in Cleveland, Ohio. Doug called me and wanted me to come back and practice law, and I wanted to come back and practice law. But I remember standing outside the front door waiting on the office to open. We had Glenn Manning. I worked for Glenn Manning and Doug. And then after a year or so, Glenn went with another law firm, and Doug and I set up our partnership. So we've been together ever since.
And then I graduated from law school in '89, and I did a year of tax law school, and I came back in 1990 and have been practicing ever since. And then my brother came here about 1992, and then George Beason's daughter came here in 1995. So, and since we'd all grown up together, it was kind of a natural fit to come in and get different specialties and to grow the practice. Since that time, with all of us back, we've hired some new attorneys, we've expanded our areas of practice, and we've had our practice grow with the city of Huntsville.
The firm grew up with the town, and since George and Doug have both been practicing 40 plus years, Huntsville's changed a lot, and so has our firm. And we've grown, but we've grown in the right size and the right manner to give the same level of service we give now with the 8 lawyers is the same service that I believe, from listening to Doug Sr. talk, that his dad gave when the firm was started in 1937, which is what we're committed to. Is while we may be growing, the level of care and quality service that we give doesn't change.
It's an amazing amount of time when you consider how long 75 years is. And since I've been working here, a lot of that knowledge has been passed down to me, a lot of that understanding. And it's been invaluable for me to be able to not only learn from that, but also to be a part of that and to be able to hopefully contribute to the impeccable reputation which this firm has.
75 years being in business kind of speaks for itself, and something that's invaluable for a young attorney is credibility and reputation. In this profession, it's everything. And to come to a place where you've got George Beason and Doug Martinson, Morris Lilienthal, Elizabeth Moore, people like that who are visible in the community, that have done things the right way. And when you speak to opposing counsel, they have nothing but nice things to say about them, even if those opposing counsels have lost.
We're a full service law firm here, and that's kind of a lost art today. And I think people take a lot of solace in knowing that if they have an issue, that they can call us and we can handle it. And if we can handle it, for example, we don't handle bankruptcy. If it's something we don't handle, we'll find you to somebody that's very capable of handling that, somebody that I'd send my own mom to, a relative of mine too. So I think where I see the firm going is staying more involved in the community, helping others as we've done in the past, and continuing to grow the firm in a manner such that we can continue client commitment.
With so many ways we've been involved with them, you know, I know we call it a full-service family business, and that's what they have provided to our family in many different ways. We've taken advantage of that. In buying businesses, like the Pepsi-Cola businesses, they have provided assistance in dealing with shareholder issues, with major customer issues. They've dealt with us in the real estate business and buying and selling, residential, commercial. We've dealt with them in foreclosures, zoning issues. I mean, this is a whole array of things. If you are in business, you're going to have to find a good, competent law firm like Martinson Beason that can provide those services to you. You're just not going to get assistance from big firms like that.
What I do like working here is that we've represented so many people for so many years. So when people come in and say, "Oh, well, your grandfather did this deed for me," and then we're actually doing a continuation of that deed.
My father met a lot of people, and of course at that time the county was agricultural. He had a lot of farmers that he represented. Now most of their farmland is subdivisions, but the law practice evolves. Instead of representing farmers in the agricultural business, we're representing farmers' grandchildren who are now developers. So I think the legacy is that there's sort of been a continuity of what has happened here.
We've learned what takes and gotten us to make 75 years of success is our clients. And how do we benefit from that? What do? We put clients first. Client commitment comes first, and when they come first, everything else falls in line.